So, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be doing something a little different today. I'm going to be teaching you about grammar and biology. So, first things first, we're going to start off with grammar. The definition of grammar is a set of conventions and rules in the English language. Something in grammar is a noun, and a noun definition of a noun is anything at all. It's a person, place, thing, or an idea, which is often left out. An example is here's a sentence. Here's a couple sentences. This is Tim. He is from Germany. He is a dog. Tim has big dreams. Now, for your so the words here, I'll just show you what I've written down. The words this, he, and he, those are going to be your pronouns. And your pronouns always come before a noun. But Tim, Germany, dog, and dreams are all going to be nouns because they're Tim is a person, Germany is a place, a dog is a thing, and dreams are an idea. So, next thing we're going to be talking about is singular and plural nouns. The difference between a singular and a plural noun pretty much is a plural noun has it has an S on the end of it at all. It's multiple things, but a singular noun is just one. So here's a list of some singular nouns. So you got a dog, a cat, a dinosaur, and a whale. Some plural nouns, you got dogs, cats, dinosaurs, and whales. Irregular plurals, these might get you, but I'm sure you're smart enough to know what they are. They could trip you up eventually because you have words like leaf, child, fungus, mouse, sheep, and loaves and calf. So instead you think that, what is it? You can't add an S onto the end of those, so what you'll do instead is you'll change them into certain words. Leaf will become leaves, child will become children, fungus will become fungi, mouse will become mice, and sheep will stay sheep because there's just one sheep, kind of like deer. Like you can't say deers or sheeps or mouses because that just wouldn't make sense. So those would stay the same. Now, next thing we got is common and proper nouns. Some common nouns are just basically like, what is it? A common noun is a vague description of something. So, like, say for a common noun, you say you live in a city. City would be a common noun. But if you were to say that you live in Chicago, Chicago would be a proper noun because you're describing it more properly. Now, if you're talking about a frog, say I have a frog named Tom. Frog is the common noun, but Tom is the proper noun because that is my frog's name. Common nouns are normally lowercase unless they begin in the beginning of a sentence, but proper nouns are always capitalized. Always capitalized. Next thing we're going to talk about is concrete and abstract nouns. So, a concrete noun is something physical, like a dog, a ball, or a cliff. Like, basically, concrete nouns are anything that isn't having to do with feelings. Like, abstract nouns are anything that's not physical. Like, you can't measure the amount of sadness somebody has. Like, yeah, you can say they're fairly sad, but you can't say, like, 3 cups of sadness. Like, that just doesn't make sense. So, instead, you can't, like, anything abstract is just not measurable. But anything concrete is measurable. Like, I have 3 dogs. I have 4 tennis balls. And then there's 3 cliffs over there. Like, it's fairly easy to know. Next thing we talk about is irregular plural nouns. Regular noun would just be like a dog. But irregular plural nouns are leaves, loafs, and calves. But, like, instead, like, okay. So when you have a word that normally ends in FS, you would change the F to an E. So it would be, instead of leaves, it would be leaves. Instead of loaf, it would be loaves. And instead of calves, it would be calves. W-I-V-E-S. Just like the same word with wife, like wifes, like W-I-F-E-S, like that's not how it works. So you'd say W-I-V-E-S because you're changing that F to a V. Now, that pretty much does it all for grammar. We're going to move on to biology. So, biology, the definition of biology is the study of all life. All living things use energy. They grow, they change, and they reproduce. Some key things in biology you're going to see are energy, DNA, and cells. Energy is constantly flowing, always. That's what energy is. DNA is what makes us up, what gives us certain characteristics. Cells are the basic building block of life. Biology will build onto chemistry, which chemistry will build onto physics, and physics will build onto mathematics. So in the end, they're all connected. Some living things that I have listed are us, humans, dogs. I thought I had a dog in here, but dogs, like your pet or something, cats, squirrels, and trees. Some non-living things we have are snow, dirt, sand, and water, because these do not display living characteristics, which I will get to in a little bit. Metabolism. Metabolism is something that living things contain. Metabolism is defined as the sum total of biochemical reactions occurring. That's what metabolism is. So living organisms are made up of one or more cells. Multicellular organisms like us, dogs and cats and squirrels and all that, they contain many cells. In multicellular organisms, they depend on organs to help them function, such as your heart, your lungs, your skin to protect everything, your kidneys. It just depends on all of it to survive. Next thing we're going to be talking about is anabolism. Anabolism is where organisms make complex molecules from simpler ones, so they'll edit the simpler molecules and make them more complex. Catabolism is the exact opposite of anabolism. It'll make simpler molecules into more complex molecules. Growth is where and when you grow, your cells just get bigger and bigger every time. So that's what growth is. Homeostasis is a stable internal environment, and any living organism will try its best to maintain homeostasis so it can survive. Reproduction, either asexual or sexual. Asexual reproduction involves one single parent that can sometimes just split off by itself. Sexual reproduction involves two parents. Response, which is where an animal or anything like that will respond to a change in its environment, trying to maintain homeostasis. Evolution. Evolution normally involves natural selection, and evolution can be something having darker fur, something changing to darker fur so it can help it survive. That is also maintaining homeostasis because it's doing its best to survive. Adaptation. Adaptation is making changes to better suit your survival. Also another thing, maintaining homeostasis. Living things. What living things do. Living things breathe, move, and maintain homeostasis because they can actually edit those things on themselves.